My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. And it's, what week would you call this?
Rellos come to visit. Unexpected Rellos knock on your door and you have to quickly whip up some dinner.
Spray and wipe week. Because what happens when unexpected relatives drop in? Apparently, spray and wipe. So we're joined tonight actually by a guest.
Oh, yes, very special guest.
I know.
Your first time on the show.
First time, long time, as it were. Josh, how are we going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're wonderful.
I'm tops.
Tops, like a cop. So of course, you are no stranger to podcasts, obviously.
Yes, that's
as well.
Correct.
Give yourself a plug.
So I do have a weekly podcast that comes out every Monday. I do it with a couple of other young Australians from across Australia. So it's something little bit like this. It's called the Great Mates Podcast. So just search it everywhere. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. So just search GR8M8S Podcast.
Oh, awesome.
Nice work.
Got a professional.
Oh, it's so...
They're good to be around you. People do what they're doing. I don't know why I've suddenly got all posh.
It's so nice to have somebody who knows what they're doing on the show, finally.
You say that.
After all these podcasts, we're finally getting someone who knows what they're doing. All right, so let's get underway, shall we? So yes. we wanted to sort of... We'll start talking about what happened in the episode, and then there's a reason we've got you on in particular to have a bit of a chat, and we'll bring that up when we get to that point.
It started off positively. There was a glimpse of Vespa.
There was a glimpse. I'm so pleased the Vespa
handlebars
returned.
over the bush.
That's the way the handlebars always appear, isn't it? Handlebar over bush.
You know, in certain circumstances, that might involve cunnilingus. I don't know. The moustache person.
Straight off the bat.
Kristie, of course, the master of the single entendre.
Needs no entendre.
There's no entendre. Later on, I will be attempting the rather more tricky triple entendre. So we get into the episode and there's a Vespa. Now, that's usually a good sign. I think we're all agreed. Mm-hmm. When the Vespa is there, the episode tends to be better.
It does. And tonight wasn't horrendous. I'm not in ranty mode.
No, it wasn't horrendous. They made silly mistakes at times, but it wasn't horrendous to a point. There was one moment we'll come to. My first thing I want to raise with you, Josh, is do you think it's a bit early to have like the families?
I think it is, isn't it?
Normally,
I swear it's usually top 5.
Start of finals week.
But do you think that this is what they did, right? They pulled the families in to get them all in a good mood before they announce after they've done the taping there'll be no overseas trip.
Everybody, we've got a surprise to get you through the end, and everyone's expecting like plane tickets.
Yeah.
And instead, Reese gets like his friend.
Very big air quotes. Friend.
Samira got her next door neighbour.
Here's the coffee I borrowed. Thank you.
Was that actually just somebody returning the borrowed coffee?
Probably. The producers probably turned up at Samira's place and was like, you're coming with us.
She's like, but I'm just returning the coffee I borrowed. Perfect.
So they bring in friends and family tonight, and it was really, again, it's designed to get everyone to cry. I wonder if it was kind of like after last week they decided they needed something
to break the tension.
To break the tension and stop the audience from slamming them, because the audience
probably
cannot slam the families coming in.
No.
They're not without being a heartless bastard. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, you can't slam Sasha and his wife like shit. The thirst in their eyes, like the looks they were giving each other. It was like...
This is what 2.5 months does to a couple.
Yeah, there was lots of, and you said when they went and they've brought something from home,
like a special item from home, and I'm thinking like Sashi's favorite lingerie that his wife wears, like, you know, their favorite paddle or something.
But that was real. Those looks were real.
Oh, yeah.
And it was adorable. It was very cute. Jess's mum was cute.
Oh, God bless Jess's mum.
And again,
but do you think she's the dominatrix behind the scenes?
Oh, she's a helicopter mum for sure.
Oh, I don't know if she's a helicopter mum. I think
she's a gantry mum.
No.
The drone mum.
No, it needs more colour, Jess.
No, she's a paragliding mum. She's still actually attached. There's a cable. Like parasailing behind.
She's a backpack mum.
So I think a few people on Twitter misconstrued what Jess's mum said.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah, she wasn't taking a shot at Jess's weight. She
No,
said,
that's just the thing.
You look healthy.
Yeah, and then she said, you look. What was the exact wording she used?
You look healthy.
Yeah, but then later on she said, was it
chubby?
Chubby, yeah, chubby. But what she meant by that was healthy, well fed.
You're still alive.
She wasn't talking about, oh my God, you've put on weight. I'm going to fat shame you.
No.
It was looking healthy and festive and
pick
great.
up fat shaming from 600
miles
away. That was not fat shaming. That was a mum going, oh my God, you look so healthy. So obviously the Masterchef environment is doing her good.
Exactly.
Or she's like, the tears that she cries every night, will do a lot for her complexion.
Although I do also want to suggest, and I don't know, Josh, if you agree or not, it was possibly also the last lot of emotion that Jess's mum showed before she went Tiger Mother.
Yeah. See, I would have thought. See, it was either, oh, you look healthy, or why don't you have a boyfriend yet? It was one of those two questions I was waiting for. So I'm glad we went with the former.
What is your name? Reese? Reese? He's a nice young man.
Lovely boy.
That's only a friend.
Very tall.
You told me about this Brendan chap. Where is he? It was just it was. She went very Tiger Mother after that. We'll come back to that in a moment.
That woman was made for the gantry.
Oh yes.
We'll get to that too because my God, didn't she own that gantry like everybody else this series? All right, so quickly we'll run through what ingredients they brought from home. So Sashi's wife brought lemongrass. Jess's mum brought chocolate.
Oh well, surprise.
Yeah, Ben. Speaking of surprise, Ben's wife brought bugs, and again, Moreton Bay bugs. Shock seafood. I know. Zany. Chloe got chili from her husband.
He seems like a really nice dude.
He does.
Yeah, he seems like a lovely guy. Who she tortures with chili.
Yes, apparently. Into a bit of chili torture.
I like the fact that he said, she makes chili dishes looking at me as if to say, you're going to be on the toilet with us tomorrow. I'm like, is that love?
She looks so happy, though, that he was there.
Oh, she looks thrilled.
She completely lit up.
No, she did.
And I wonder if it's just that chili torture that
I wonder if though because we know she's mentioned them a lot, I wonder when the husband read in if she didn't look at him and go, where are the kids?
Yep. That is legitimately the question I asked. Where are the kids?
Yep.
Who's got them?
Out the back with the vest.
Well, it's too early.
Being minded by Trent.
It's being minded by Trent, who's never left the kitchen, as we know. Samira got coffee, as we said. It's probably just returning it.
Yeah.
Khanh.
Coriander.
Now, it's a weird choice of ingredient to bring. Because we know that coriander can divide people. I don't see it personally.
Yeah.
But she must have known Khanh liked it.
Well, she knew Khanh liked it. But again, thinking strategically, the judges, we know if they don't like something, you're dead.
Oh, yeah.
So, picking something which is divisive, again, I don't understand why coriander is divisive.
Because there's an actual thing where it makes it, they taste soap.
Yeah, there's a genetic thing where if they taste it, it tastes like soap. So
yeah, they can taste soap. Then fine. Most delicious soap ever.
I've made you duck soap.
Yum.
So we then asked the question on Twitter: if you had some of your loved ones send you an ingredient, what would they send you? So we had a couple of responses, and then we're going to sort of do this as well. So we haven't spoken about it, by the way. We've deliberately avoided it. So Siobhan on Twitter had, at the time I tweeted out, sent back, we just had this exchange here. I would give my boyfriend bread because he puts everything on a sandwich. He would give me oats so I can make breakfast. I like that idea. That's cool.
Practical.
Austenite with Spanish sweet smoked paprika, which I'm woman after my own heart.
La-di-da. Not just any paprika.
Dylan on Twitter came back with lemon or vinegar because I'm both bitter and sour. Some good responses. Lisa Romano, everyone's favourite Lisa Romano with 00 flour, which is the bread flour.
Ooh.
That sounds logical for me.
Do you reckon that's her code name too?
00 flour.
She works for MI6. Her code name is 00 flour.
Marco said that they'd send him vodka to mess with him. That's so Marco. And Aslan said a can opener.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. All right, Josh, what did you say?
Look, if budget was no option, I just want a case of this very lovely dark beer from Bavaria. It's amazing. Ugh.
That would be awesome.
Would you cook with it though, or would you just be like, I'm in elimination, see you guys later?
I just drink the entire case, to be honest.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, but no, that first challenge you weren't going to elimination on.
No,
No, see, that's fine.
Sit there and go, you know what are you going to do? I'm not going to elimination off this one. Fuck you. I trust my second cook enough.
Yes.
Pour a glass for the judges.
Yeah, you wanna.
What have you
stein
prepared?
each?
What have you prepared? I've prepared a beer. Here you go, all of you.
Just throw it in the blast chiller, get it nice and cold.
Oh yeah.
Beer parfait.
Ooh.
Beer parfait with a beer granita.
With a beer chaser.
But as we know from our friends at Ungerman Brothers,
Yes.
beer goes very well in ice cream.
Oh, it does.
Amazingly well, that Dutch ale. All right, and
So
now,
Josh is making a beer ice cream.
what would you send me?
If I was in a kind mode, I'd give you chorizo.
Yep.
Because you love it. If I was in a mischievous mode, you would get beetroots and peas.
I can only imagine where this is going.
Okay, if I was being kind,
Yes.
scampi.
Oh,
Mm.
yes. And then no one else would eat it because I'd just be cooking it for myself. Like, fuck off, Matt. It's mine. Have a shell.
If I wasn't being kind,
Yeah.
and this is going to sound weird because it's going to be something that you'd like,
Mm.
but I want to see you have to cook with it.
What?
A ham and pineapple pizza.
Ooh.
And then I want to see you do something with it.
As long as it's not a Dr. Oetker. I'm
No, it would
fine.
be a Dr.
Oh,
Oetker.
no. I'd just vomit and run away.
It would be
I
Dr.
was going
Oetker.
to ask, from where?
No, it would
From-
be a Dr. Oetker frozen.
Oh.
Oh, my God. Like, oh, okay. So I wasn't well once. And I said to Chris, because when I get unwell, I'm like, just something cheap and crappy.
Mhm.
And so he
And
brought
that's how
home-
I came in. No,
That was your Tinder profile name, I think.
cheap and crappy.
Cheap and
Is
crappy.
this the romantic story?
Yeah.
It is. So he brought home a frozen pizza. Now, Papa Giuseppe's used to be pretty, straightforward until Dr. Oetker took over and started adding like the baked bean tomato sauce to the bake.
Oh, it was terrible.
I still retch thinking about it. Oh, okay. Let's start talking about what the contestants.
Let's go back to this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the reason we need to go back to this is because it went back to bullshit at this point. Because they got all the family members in, they've got the ingredients to make it into the mystery box, and it's like, yep, okay, this is really cool.
Mhm.
And whoever is the winning dish is going to get a fast forward to finals week, which is literally just
Next week.
But it's actually only going to be like 2 days because they do it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be like 2 days they miss out on. They don't cook Wednesday or Tuesday, so they don't cook Wednesday, they don't cook Thursday.
Mhm.
So they're only missing 2 days. That's not really that much of an advantage.
Yeah.
So
And they're not cooking, which is
no, that's weird.
can't be good.
No.
Leading up to a final, you'd want to be practicing.
So, and especially since last week, most of them will have missed out from early in the week.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you get, obviously you go, oh, that's going to be a really big prize. And then they go, and we're only tasting 3 dishes. And at that point I went, fuck off. My question is, why are they still doing this? We're only tasting the best this many when they then put a big prize up. Like, what do you reckon, Josh?
I really don't know. I think it's just they've just fallen into this pattern of just looking for 3 dishes at random and just tasting them. It seems ludicrous that past top 10 you wouldn't want to taste everyone's.
You got time.
You have time. There is no need to selectively choose 3 or 5 dishes anymore. There's plenty of time. I don't understand.
Exactly. They tasted all 8 last week.
Yeah.
And there were only 7 to taste this week.
And the other one for me is, like, they then said, it was Samira's and who was the other one they said? And Ben, I think it was. They went, both your dishes look amazing, but we're not going to taste those. We're going to taste this one. Hang on. Like, Samira's dish legitimately looked mouth-watering.
Yeah.
And Ben's actually looked
Really nice.
decent too.
Yeah.
And you're like looking at them going, they look really good. And they're like, we're not going to taste yours and we're not going to taste yours because we're really intrigued by what this parfait is. Which,
A chocolate toffee parfait.
okay, so let's talk about the big fuck you in this challenge, shall we?
Mhm.
If you, Josh,
Yes.
were bringing an ingredient to somebody in the MasterChef kitchen,
Yes.
and they then turned around halfway through the challenge and went, I'm not using your ingredient.
Fuck you, duck.
Yeah, fuck you, duck. Would you still be friends with them?
See, I would have already opened up my Facebook app and hovered my finger over the unfriend button. As they were like, bitch, you going to use that duck or not?
Would you then have clicked it when you found out in the next challenge they made fucking duck?
I would have reported them to Facebook. We escalate very quickly.
Violation of terms of service. Now, what I couldn't get over...
Personal vilification.
Let's talk about Reese, shall we? Because I want to know what that Reese and Hannah relationship is like.
I really do.
It just seems toxic. She seems surprised that he was still there. He didn't use her duck. She started telling him what to do, to which Reese had shade and went, I've been doing this for months, Hannah.
It really is you and I in the MasterChef. It would be...
Back the fuck off.
Yeah. You would be on the ground cooking and I'd just come in to give you shit.
And of course, Reese looked at the fact that the mystery box contained all of these savoury ingredients and went, I need to make a dessert.
Oh, Reese.
And what I am worried about with Reese, in all honesty, is he seems to be writing about 5 elements all the way through the contest.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned last week that he made the same dish back to back.
Yeah.
And then tonight he made a 3rd variation on it. It was only missing the meringue
shards,
element.
but he swapped that over for the praline.
Yeah, he made praline shards instead of meringue shards, but it was basically another version of the same dish. So he's now technically made the same dish 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And got tasted.
Should we be a bit concerned?
I think we should be a lot concerned, shouldn't we?
If I was Reese, I'd be a little bit worried about the idea that there might be a challenge pop up that doesn't involve a parfait.
Yes.
Because parfaits in granita, and he did comment earlier this year when I said something about granita, and he went, it's the first one I've made all season. And since then, he's made about 5. So, I'd like to bring that one up again and ask him. But I just find that a bit disconcerting. That he's making the same thing. And again, it's not a criticism of him in terms of he doesn't have the range. We know he does.
Yes.
I think you see contestants at this point of the competition get stuck in this rut.
Wanting to be safe.
Wanting to be safe.
All about wanting to be safe.
Which brings us to Sashi.
Oh, Sashi.
And this brings us up to our bit of conversation. Now, Sashi decides he's going to do a fettuccine with these sort of Asian flavors, but he's also going to go with fettuccine, but lemongrass and like all these mixture of flavors.
He wants to make it fusion.
Right? He wants to try something.
But as a lot of chefs have said, they don't like the term fusion because it means forcing flavors and things together.
Yeah. And now what they decided to do was, and I don't disagree with what they were trying to do with Sashi. What they were trying to do was convince him that maybe he needs to look at what the flavor profile is.
Yeah.
Because it's possibly going to clash. And it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
What George said instead, though, was he pointed at the range of ingredients that George referred to as Asian.
Yep.
And went, this is what you cook. This is you. When I think of Sashi, this is what I think of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Has there been, and I'll ask you this question, Josh.
Yes.
Has there been a lot of profiling of flavor this series?
I think the answer is yes. It's a very strong yes. And I don't understand why.
So you put out a series of tweets last week as well on this, which we retweeted and mentioned we were going to get you on to talk about it.
Yes.
Relating to the generic term Southeast Asian.
Yes.
So would you like to sort of speak to that a bit?
And its problematicness.
Yes. Problematicness.
So I'll just give a little bit of background about myself. I am Filipino by heritage, but I grew up in Singapore. So I do have quite a, and I've worked with a lot of, international students here while at uni. So I do have a lot of touchstone like experiences with different cultures and stuff like that. With Southeast Asia, the only way you can, group them together is purely political or regional, as it were. You can't really give there's no generic Southeast Asian because of how much diversity there is within the region itself. You've got Vietnam, which is, very fresh oriented. You've got Thailand, which uses mostly sweet, mostly sour. You've got Malaysia, Indonesia, which uses a lot of spices. Singapore, which is, literally everything under the sun in one country. God bless. And as well, you've got a lot of Spanish, Chinese influences there. There's also been a lot of English, Portuguese influences because of the history that is attached to the area. So there's really no generic Southeast Asian flavor profile because everyone tastes everything differently. And this is the problem that I brought up last week. And it's been, and again tonight, it's very problematic because you cannot, I hate them putting Sashi in a box.
Yep. He's quite a talented cook. And when I always go back to the fire challenge and just how he, commandeered, working the meat on the fire. I'm so sexual.
Commandeering the meat on the fire.
I'm sure his wife likes it when he commandeers the meat.
She'll replay that bit of audio now over and over on a loop.
In that, he's got a lot of strong skills and we've seen, he has quite a talent for spice and quite a talent for curry and those kind of flavors, but that's not everything.
And and we talked about this the other day. When they had the chef came in from Mumbai, and walks in, and they just immediately just show Sashi, Sashi supposed to know everything about him.
Yep.
And it's like, he's from Singapore.
Yes.
He's not even from Mumbai.
It's like the editors are from the Sutherland Shire in the 1980s. I can say that because I was from the Shire in the 1980s. The Greek people were the people who ran the fish and chip shop. The Chinese people were the people who ran the Chinese place. The Italians ran the pizza shop, and the Twain or the Thrain shall meet.
No. It just seems, and it seems to me that there's a lot of trying to pigeonhole, and not just off the back of culture.
Yeah,
they really like, one of the things, and I think it's because of the type of show it is, they like to be able to pigeonhole people into this is what you are, this is what you are.
Yeah, and
we've seen in the last couple of episodes of Masterchef, people have been trying to get out of their box and do something,
like Sashi with the dessert.
Yes.
And they've actually been pushing them back into the boxes. And they keep advising them to don't change lanes. Don't just stay in your lane.
Yeah, because it's it comes from that marketing perspective. They don't want to see they want one person being this person for the entirety of the series, and that's not possible because if you want to see someone grow, you're going to have to let them explore, make mistakes, and learn from those mistakes.
And that's a change in philosophy from a couple of years ago on this show when they were telling people they needed to grow and change and expand, and you can't keep doing the same thing.
If Reese served up the second dessert that he served up last week after he'd served that first one, if he'd have done that 2 years ago, he would have had his ass handed to him.
Yeah, so would have gone, you need to do something different.
Yeah, we've seen this before. You need to do something, play up something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now, and you said this last week as well, the challenge whole of last week was designed to make people make the safest dish possible.
Yeah.
And they even said to Jess, play it safe.
Yeah.
They're not trying to make people expand and do things.
No.
They're trying to make them all just make really simple, basic dishes and things that don't make them stretch. But it becomes a bit of a deeper problem then when they start using background and cultural background, and I use those words in inverted commas, as the driving force sort of behind that as well.
And I guess what we as how can I put it, a society needs to start doing is start moving above the white person going, I'm going to cook a Southeast Asian inspired dish. Because quite frankly, you're using chilies, you're using lemongrass, but it's like someone trying to cook an authentic Australian thing. You go to Outback Steakhouse and have Kookaburra wings, and you're like, You know we don't do this, don't you?
Well, my limited understanding, obviously, of the Philippines. I mean, I didn't have one university course, so I'm hardly, a great expert on it. But just the number of islands and regions within the Philippines makes that so culturally diverse that I would expect that what people would be cooking maybe in the south would be vastly different from what people cook in the north.
Yes, definitely. And Filipinos obviously get into heated debates about what goes in, adobo, our national dish, because there's so much variety. And I think you would have to have that experience to inform how you would cook a dish. And like you said, Kristie, it was like, we can't, it's 2018. We have to be better.
Absolutely.
As a, I can cite 2 examples like from previously. Gordon Ramsay having his ass handed to him by cooking a pad thai that wasn't up to a Thai chef's standards of what a pad thai should be.
Yeah.
And then you get the judges from Masterchef UK earlier this year who commented that the chicken rendang skin needs to be crispy when you go to Malaysia, Indonesia, and like Malay communities, we don't have crispy skin on a chicken rendang, and they get asses handed to them.
It sounds like a very how can I put it? It sounds like something you do for white people because the white palate isn't used to the kind of gelatinous kind of. I don't want to. I'll say slimy because it's like the texture that comes across in a lot of like say Chinese dishes, for example. Yes. And I mean like very specific provinces because I'm sure there's others that are like, we just fucking fry the shit out of it. You're talking about you white woman. But, there's textures that are unfamiliar
and they're very shocking.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's similar when like a lot of, say, Western cuisines go into like Japan or other places, they get a twist on them that makes them palatable to the local palate. So,
So it's been something though, as I said, with this season where they've been encouraging them to make things that are safe and stick in their lane and things and things you trust.
Yeah.
And don't vary it too much.
No.
And to go back to tonight's episode a bit more, Chloe, for example, in the first challenge made noodles. You had, as you pointed out, Ben made seafood.
Yeah. With a sauce.
Which
is what he's been doing.
And Reese, of course, made a parfait.
Yes.
So we again got, and again, we love her dearly, but Samira in the second challenge made Azerbaijani. Why? Because they want a story. So basically they wanted you to go back and make what you always make anyway, which they did.
I think she should have made like a coffee and gone, this is a story about my neighbour.
No, what happens is they start with the George Zamfir's panpipes.
Yeah.
But over a cup of Nescafe.
Yes, the neighbour's really racist. Like, they bloody people from the Middle East. I reckon it's a terrorist that's moved in next door.
But after a cup of Nescafe, I love your food. It's delicious.
What are these things called? Pomegranates.
So again, I think it's a very important conversation. We'll move on a little bit though, but I think that's a really important conversation to raise and something which I think it'll be interesting to see in the last couple of weeks how they handle it.
Absolutely.
So back to what they were making. So we had a couple of people being focused on. Reese was being looked at every 2.5 seconds.
Gave it away that he was
going to give away that he would get tasted
in front of his friend.
Now
it gets a bit kinky here.
He also got very smarmy at Matt too. Now Matt tried the chocolate mixture with the chili in it, and look, Reese seemed to be indicating on Twitter that Matt was genuinely not good. I call bullshit.
Yeah, and the Academy Award for Best Cough goes to
ever. And what I loved was he just stood there with folded arms looking at him and just going, yeah, we get it. We get it.
Do you like his would you like a drink of water?
Yeah.
And then he's
Reese just goes, we get it. It was like, fuck off, Matt. I've got no time.
Please. Sarah, get the cravat off me. Like, fuck cravat, Matt.
So anyway, they only bothered to taste 3 dishes. So let's only just talk about, we're not even going to talk about all 3 of them because Reese's parfait melted. The granita melted again. Last time it was the parfait.
But they liked it as a sweet little syrup.
But when it melted, it in fact added to the dish. I know. Like, if anybody else's stuff had melted, like, look, that's melted. It's a travesty. Reese, oh, look, your granita melted. But that adds to it. I wonder if burning the food adds to the flavour.
Chuck it in the garden, roll around in the dirt for a bit.
That's carbon. But I like carbon.
I like how healthy it is, Reese.
I like how healthy it is after you saltied it.
Yeah. Saute.
No, new pronunciations again. Salty. So Jess made chocolate and coffee semifreddo. Her mother, let's talk about her mother off the gantry. She has clearly seen this show before. Because the one thing they've all been doing off the gantry to the professionals is like telling them how to cook.
I know what's going on at home.
Uh-huh.
So Jess saw this when she was 9 and she's like, I want to be on MasterChef. And her mum's like, all right, I know what I'm doing. Husband, build me a gantry in the kitchen. Yes, you're going to be down there every night. I will be up here on the gantry drilling you.
They bought a loft. They bought a loft simply so they could build a gantry in it. Mum, why are we moving? You want to win MasterChef?
I'll make sure you win MasterChef.
My hell or high water.
Look at my mum. She's so little and so cute, but so evil.
Her mum's been off getting latex suits made of like Matt Preston, George Columbus, Gary, and like once a day, members of the family have to come over and dress as the three judges and stand there. It's
nightmare
fuel. Full recreation.
And every day mum dresses up as like a visiting chef. So one day she's Gordon Ramsay, next minute she's Marco Pierre White, next minute Nigella Lawson.
Jess
Who's Shannon?
Jess has actually practiced that reaction that she had to Peter Gilmore before. It was her Uncle Steve. He's came in the suit and everything. Pretend I'm Peter Gilmore. Pretend I'm Peter Gilmore. So anyway, neither of them won. What did win was Sashi.
Yes.
Sorry, Sashi, because he earned that. His duck noodles with broth. Now, there has been an overabundance of broth this year too. It's been the sneaky ingredient. Like, we're also focused on desserts and parfaits and granitas and all the usuals. Every dish has every week we featured a broth somewhere.
It's a Jew or a broth.
It's a Jew or a broth, or a Jew if you're
a Jewy broth.
I did like Sashi tonight. I'm going to make a duck Jew, and I'm like waiting for this duck to go. Oh my god! Oy vey, quack quack! What are we doing?
Mashniggana. So anyway, Sashi made his duck noodles.
He deglazed me. I'm verschnicked now.
He made his duck noodles.
Is that Mel Brooks?
Very, very Mel Brooks. Made his duck noodles with broth and kind of showed Reese exactly how he should have fucking used the duck. It looked delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for everyone playing along at home, and one of those people is on the end of the microphone right now, Sashi's dish is going to be our dish of the week for the Ungerman Brothers giveaway.
Indeed.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. And by gift that
it
keeps on giving,
away.
and by gift that keeps on giving, I mean just the one gift. But you've got to be in it to possibly receive our gift. Notice how I didn't say win it, because that would be a contest.
Yes.
Help us decide who to gift this apron to.
Me, Brandon, or someone else.
We've had extra entrants now.
Yes, I've seen.
Again, the instructions are as follows. You need to go to the Facebook page. I will put up a status on the Facebook page, which will be week 3, Ungerman Brothers gift giveaway. It'll something along those lines.
Like the Ungerman Brothers gift giveaway, and we just have one of like Ben and his brother doing a little dance, like boomerang style.
The big painting of them, and give that away. So what you have to do is you have to go to the Ungerman Brothers Facebook page and our Facebook page. You have to like our Facebook. You have to pair one of the Ungerman Brothers flavoured ice creams with Sashi's duck noodles with broth. It can be a before, it can be an after.
It could be during.
If you really want to put an ice cream in the broth, go for it. Now they have
beer with a duck.
Now they have just announced that the carrot cake is now on the regular menu. It was up today, so that's always a good one. And there is a video of us tasting the carrot cake and the beer.
I was drinking.
You were having the beer. So that is out there. So you need to go to our Facebook page. You cannot enter via Twitter. Do not tweet to us about that because
we'll ignore it. You're dead to it.
We'll block you. We'll block you.
Dead to us.
And we'll report you to Twitter. That's how seriously we take this. So you too could be the lucky recipient of the gift. I didn't say it was a gift. I didn't say it was a prize. I said it's a gift. Well done.
But if it was a prize, what's it going to be?
What's it going to be?
It would be the apron.
All right. So moving on. So after they did that, they then sent the rest of the family members home. Now think about it. If you're one of those family members that turned up, and then like nothing happened with your loved one.
Although, do you think Sashi's wife hid on the gantry till he got up there?
Do you reckon that? Yeah. Now say goodbye to your family and like Sashi, you see, seeing as you don't have to be in the next challenge, you can disappear for a little bit longer.
Storeroom.
I'm going to pick my ingredients out of the storeroom and woo! Now, and at that point, Shannon Bennett made his prize return.
She brought the paddle.
His return.
So Shannon Bennett made his prize return, and I went, Shannon Bennett, wow, if he's here, something interesting must be happening. And I turned around to Kristie and went, making good for last week when they didn't have him in. They owe him an appearance.
Yeah.
And like casual Shannon, or as everyone on Twitter called him, Marty McFly.
You got the cap, really.
Fruit, please. Hydrate level 4, please. That's how most of the food at Voodoo gets cooked. So, we're never eating there. Be closed before we get down there. Anyway, so tonight's second challenge seemed to have a prize that was better than the first challenge.
Congratulations, Sashi, but you're fucked.
Not only do you win what Sashi won, which is a chance to cook to go all the way through next week automatically, but you also get to go on the prestigious menu at Voodoo Monde. Now, the more cynical people, not me, might suggest that this is just Shannon Bennett outsourcing the menu and that you wonder if whoever was going to win this challenge might see, I don't know, a cut of money off their dish being used in the kitchen.
Unpaid labour isn't something
it's a Shannon Bennett specialty.
At least at a reduced rate.
I don't know. Would you have rather have won Sashi's prize and not have to cook again, Josh? Or would you have rather have won Khan's prize, which was the reward plus Voodoo Monde?
I think I would have rather just, staying up at the gantry and not having my dish at Voodoo Monde because I couldn't give a flying fuck if it was at Voodoo Monde.
It's fair enough.
Now, also, Chris made the thing of going to check the menu.
No, I went to the menu. Now, first of all, it takes about 800 years for it to open because his website sucks.
But there was one on there and we thought, oh my gosh, Ben's dish is one.
Okay, so this is a dish on the Voodoo Monde menu.
Okay.
Kingfish, clams, green tomato, and lemon aspen.
Now, where have I heard of that one before?
Well, we know where the kingfish and the clams come from.
Yes.
Now he said that it was overcooked, but you could almost see his eyes light up.
Going, these pippies were clams.
I might add some green tomato, maybe some lemon aspen. Ooh. By the way, I had a look at the Voodoo Monde menu, as we said, and it was talking about raising the dish up to the level of Voodoo Monde, which features things such as damper, but not damper. That's an actual name of a dish. I'm not kidding there. And then he's trying to be fancy, but at the same time, bring it down to the people. Mud crab snags with kohlrabi coleslaw and tarragon emulsion. I'm sorry, if you're using the word snags, you do not get to use the word emulsion in the same sentence. Right? You don't get to do that.
It should have been tarragon sauce. Spelled like that too. SOAURC. Sauce.
Also, such wonderful things as trolley of cheese.
I'm looking through the menu right now as well.
Roasted marshmallow. Braised carrot, emu, egg, and fermented carrot sauce.
What?
Is Sarah working there?
They have commas.
Yeah, but like emu and then egg. Which egg is it? Is it emu egg? Or is it just a normal egg with emu? Because that just seems to be clashing. That's two different types of bird. And lots of carrot around it. Carrot and birds.
Yeah, that's Sarah's work experience night right there.
But look at that menu, and I'm not going to tell everybody what the tasting menu costs, but
$260.
It's a lot of money. It's a ridiculous amount of money.
Look, he's got to go out and chase down those emus. He's got to have a story to tell.
Somebody has to make damper, but not damper.
Yes, he has to have all that money to source that trolley. Cheese. It's a trolley made of cheese. The man of the people.
The Coles trolley.
I like the idea that it's actually just an IKEA trolley that he's put together. And it's for one trolley of cheese. Yeah. They've only got one. He can't afford more than one. So anyway, back to the episode, because, as we said, Reese decided, I need to come up with a really good idea here. I know, duck! And when George Columbaris calls you out on it and goes, so your friend brings a duck and you don't cook it, and then you make a duck, is she still going to be your friend?
Not anymore. She burnt that bridge. I wonder
if that actually was his friend, or if they just grabbed somebody because his friend cancelled at the last minute. Pretend you know her.
Maybe she's like the Newman from his apartment. They couldn't find Elaine or so George. They grabbed Newman.
Now, poor Jess tonight. Once Tiger Mother left, she seemed to be lost. And like everyone else is cooking, and then they just show this shot of poor Jess with a basket standing in front of the pantry, going, I don't know. And then she sees mud crab and goes, oh, I've been trying to make mud crab.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Now, I like her gumption in trying something. We said you should be trying something.
Yeah.
But you should probably try something you've done more than once. And she admitted she's only ever attempted mud crab once.
Yeah. Something I have to ask, though, is referring to Jess's mum as a tiger mum, like, culturally inappropriate? Like, is it better to call her a stage mother or a kitchen mother? No, that's wrong. From a feminist perspective.
I know that tiger mum has been a term that's, been co-opted and used for a very specific stereotype of Asian mother. Just call her an Asian mum.
Okay.
Really? Asian mum then.
Asian mum. Cool. That works. So we've had mum leaves. We get, so my dish deserves to be on the menu because who doesn't like crab? I'm not aware that's a reason.
Probably people that's like me saying shellfish.
That's like me saying my dish should be on the ARIA menu because it's food.
The Queen doesn't like crab. She's not allowed to have shellfish.
People with shellfish allergies, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
There's quite a number of people who don't like crab.
There were a lot of them. I said that
my stepfather Bob / uncle doesn't like crab.
I said that I really would have liked to have made like an omelette, but make it taste really fucking good, so that Shannon Bennett had to serve it. Maybe toast. The best toast you've ever had, Shannon.
What about something called like not a Big Mac?
Not a Whopper.
Not a Whopper.
Now, the interesting part about this tonight too was in the second challenge they tasted everybody's.
How interesting.
3 hour cheese.
3 hour cheese. So, but yeah, it was weird because the second challenge they tasted everybody's, and it's almost like they were making good on the first challenge where they didn't. And they were like, oh shit, everyone's going to criticize. We'll just do it again. But this time we'll taste everyone's. Thus rendering the first challenge completely pointless. So there were a couple of really interesting parts of the cook. Not many, but there were a couple. Ben's pan-seared fish.
On a grill.
It was on a grill, Ben.
Oh, Ben.
There was no pan.
His wife is like fucking hot. Like absolutely hot.
Steel.
There was just, I mean, there's no pan involved.
Now, Khanh, right? First of all, he's made so many people happy by confirming he doesn't have a boyfriend on Twitter tonight. It's just like a squeal of delight that echoed out through the land. And his gorgeous sister as well. Here he is getting very, very emotional over mushrooms. And I can only presume it's taking him back to some good raves. Because the shrooms are a very, very personal connection.
I did like that after he talked about the fact he was cooking mushrooms, they then showed him DJing. Someone in production was pissing themselves laughing.
It's usually not these little like pine mushrooms. They're usually blue meanies, but we'll go with the pine mushrooms today because they're legal.
Drugs are bad, kids. Okay. Yeah, but it was just, I want to know who was there on production going, do it. I dare you. Khan says mushrooms. I dare you to show him DJing.
We didn't show him walking through like a dark lane in the middle of Melbourne.
No. They showed him DJing and then they showed him foraging so that it actually looked a little bit more legit. So they did it and went, dial it back a bit. Maybe foraging? Khan, go forage.
His neighbour's like, what are you doing in my backyard, Khan? Filming.
It's for television.
Oh, okay. You're foraging. I'll throw some nuts on the ground. You can forage with some nuts.
It always reminds me of the Bill Bailey bit about, scrumping. Talking about, when he was growing up, they were picking apples, scrumping, fruit larceny basically is what it is. Leaning over somebody's fence and stealing their apples. It's scrumping. No, it's not. It's fruit larceny. This idea of Khan like foraging and then they show him DJing and it's like, yeah, Now, Samira.
Yes.
She's lovely.
She's so nice.
I felt so bad for her ending up in elimination. And especially the moment where Jess's mud crab turned to swamp, which is what it did. Yeah. And Samira was the one who rushed forward and just went, come here. Before George went, you now here. And then got to do his, caring father routine, which is creepy.
Yeah.
But Samira stopped her cook.
Yeah.
And went over and helped, and I thought that was really lovely.
Now, something interesting that I read this week, when you go to the website that's not a website because you just opened up another browser window, it was one of those news items that pop up, and it was another waitress that was after back pay from George.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he's putting this whole new culture in the thing with the acronym LIFE and making sure people are getting paid fairly and blah, blah, blah and whatever else. But she hasn't been. So it's just one person had their back pay, but not her. And they just...
Yeah, Colin Burrows has done it again.
Yeah. But I just like how he's now got this little kind of corporate culture going. And I'm just imagining not little, but posters on the wall and
are you being paid?
Are you being paid correctly?
Have I remembered to pay you?
Just little Colin Burrows.
It's a picture of George Colin Burrows like Uncle Sam with the pointing. I want you to check and make sure I've paid you. But yeah, no, and then he's trying as well with this, and we saw this earlier when they gave out the money. George was the one who told everyone he was giving out the money. And then when Jess started, crying and was upset, it was George who went over. They're trying to soften George's image. I also think this is part of the reason why Gary has been such a prick. Because Gary's been an asshole this year. Yeah. Preston's upped it, but Preston struggles to up it to...
Oh, Preston news though, okay? Mm-hmm. Completely unrelated, but related. Preston the bush turkey at work.
Oh, yes.
First sighting for the season. He was out and about, scrubbling away, preparing his new nest to woo the birds.
We'll give you all some more Preston updates as the season goes on because this is far more interesting all the time.
Yeah.
Again, at your work, you've got Preston the bush turkey. Just for those people who didn't listen last year when we started talking about Preston.
Yeah, so there's a bush turkey. He's got the women at work called him Preston because he's got the little yellow... It
looks like cravat.
Yeah, it looks like yes.
So he's Preston the bush turkey.
I see. Is he getting ready for the big game?
Yeah. He's always getting ready for the big game. You know that. You know Preston.
Yes.
Well, Preston last year was trying to get ready for the big game. He was trying to impress a female, wasn't he?
Yeah, several. He'd have a few come through.
It was the big game.
So the big game hens.
The big game hens. Oh, but ching, you're on fire. So we also had for me, just a little interesting thing with the way it's scanned on TV. I don't think they've thought through the Pointless promo quite properly, because when the dish names came up, Pointless was sitting at the end of it. So every dish was like Khanh said, the forest floor, Pointless. They all were pointless dishes. And it just, like, Samira's, I can't even remember what Samira's was called, but it read like a sentence. And it was like, why even bother? Pointless. Well, Jess's was mud crab, pointless.
Literally.
So it was a bit
pointless.
Pointless, to be honest with you. So we ended up with everyone presenting their dishes. Now, Reese made his duck and it was quite good. Khanh with his forest floor, otherwise Raver's Delight. And that was good. And everyone liked those two. Jess, we all know that was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
Ben overcooked everything, apparently. So this week they noticed.
Yes.
This week they've noticed. And Samira's, they told Samira that they liked hers and they thought it was really good. You should be really proud of it. And then Chloe came up with her mushrooms. Now, we haven't mentioned Chloe this episode. It's been nice.
I don't like mushrooms. And I've never eaten them. But
I was literally waiting for that. As a
nutritionist.
I don't like mushrooms.
Yeah.
No, actually, she probably would. Mushrooms, they love them.
Yeah.
So she comes up. Now, they say to her, are you going to use the apron? And everyone at home says, she goes, yes. Thus rendering that as the most ridiculous advantage ever given out in the history of the game. My question on that, someone on Twitter actually asked tonight, and they asked a very serious question. They asked the question, do you think that I'll read it out. So Naomi on Twitter says, serious question. Do you think the editors influenced Chloe's decision to use the apron? I mean, it made no logical sense not to not use it in the pressure test tomorrow night if necessary, which is what my thinking was. If you got put through to elimination, you just use it before the pressure test tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're fine. So what ended up happening was she uses the apron first up. Straight away, just goes bang and uses it and burns it. I don't think that the editors necessarily influenced her. What I asked as a counterpoint, and this is in no way, shape or form saying that she cheated, don't take it the wrong way, it is a genuine point. So Matt Preston the other week, when people said about them going and tasting Jess's dish 5 times and giving her advice, was no, we taste everybody's dish as we go all the time. We are constantly tasting the dishes. In that situation, do you think they tasted her dish and basically she had a bit of a tip off that maybe she might need to use the apron?
Well, we can't tell because it wasn't
We can't
shown.
tell. Yeah. And that's the thing. But it's a legitimate thing to just sort of ask in terms of, and it's not just about the apron, by the way. It's not just about the apron, by the way.
Yeah.
It's about people then using their pin later on. Like, say, for example, they go to elimination.
Yeah.
And then the next night they're like, well, they tasted it and my flavor profile's a bit off at the moment. I'll use my pin.
Yeah.
Right. It's the argument comes back to blind taste testing. And I think there's got to be a bit more blind testing.
I actually think it's possibly also a mental health thing. Like if you just don't want the pressure and don't want to worry about
exactly
whether or not you're being blacks or not and that kind of shit, you just want a few days to relax.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not a bad call. And I look, and especially for Chloe, because she did cook the entirety of last week except for the last night. So she cooked for a whole week when everyone else had time off. I can understand her sort of going, you know what, I just like 2 nights off. Yeah. Because by throwing the apron, she gets 2 nights off. So it's not a bad mental health move. And again, that's not a criticism of Chloe going, oh, they told her. But it's just something where they've sort of opened themselves up a little bit by saying that she can use it after the cook. When they did also say that they taste everybody's dishes, they go around and give them feedback as they taste it. So that's the only question mark. But it's not a question in terms of Chloe cheating. And besides, if you've got that advantage, use it however the hell you want.
Yeah.
If I was her, I don't know if I would have burnt it before I knew. Like, because you could possibly have been one of the 3 best dishes. Like, you could have actually managed to be in that mid position.
Or she might have seen that Samira's was a little bit better.
She could well have. And again, it's not a criticism at all. I think it's just really well done. So tomorrow night, so we get to the end of the challenge. As we said, we end up with Samira, Ben, and Jess in elimination. Reese and Khanh were the top 2 tonight, and Khanh doesn't have to be in the kitchen tomorrow night. He has to be in Vudamon's kitchen, showing them what to do and telling them the story of his raids. I mean, his foraging on the forest floor.
Do you think, I don't know how the timeline goes, if he's literally, like, if the filming is literally going to be the next day, or if it's going to be, like, actual tomorrow, like our tomorrow. So, like, tomorrow night, Monday, the 17th of July. Like, just, like, because if they have to pretend that it's tomorrow night and he's not there, did he just get to stay back at the house, like have a day off?
No, I get the feeling they sent him to Vudamonde. It looked like Shannon didn't want to actually have to do anything in his own kitchen. So he's going to send Khanh in. He's not just going to do it. Khan's going to run the pass.
Oh, my Lord.
So he just opens up his deck.
So just quickly, we're about to finish up. Just quickly, tomorrow night is a pressure test like they've never seen. Now, first of all, I'm over that sentence because they say every week is a pressure test they've never seen. But this week, it's really dumb because legitimately they're relying on Matt Preston's review.
We've done this before though, haven't we?
I don't remember. But if we're relying on Matt Preston's review, my question is, if you can't make this dish, can you blame Matt Preston for writing a shithouse review?
I think you can.
Like, I don't know what that dish was. Matt, that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Like, learn how to write better, Preston. Right? Someone just goes, well, I didn't know what the dish was. Read that. You tell me what it says. So I'll be interested to see how that goes, especially since Jess has shown in particular that she works, and Ben has shown he works very well off written instruction. And there's no written instruction. You're guessing.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on tonight, Josh. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Is there any closing comments that you'd like to make or anything else you...
I guess maybe listen to my podcast episode that's being released tomorrow because I do get to expand on my thoughts.
Nice. Do that.
Discussed. Yes.
Excellent. So go tune into Josh's podcast. I might do that.
You
know, I've got to drive home.
You've got a long drive home. So
long drive home.
In Miscellaneous City's traffic's really bad this time of year.
Actually, it's pretty good. It's school holidays. It's fucking brilliant.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So thanks for coming on, Josh. Until next episode, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you all later.
Bye.